Good afternoon.
Hi there, how are you?
Good. Good. How are you?
Good.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
I think I'm your sidekick for today. So I
I
can.
think you are too.
So if you need me to keep an eye on chat or anything, let me know. Or actually, I guess that's exactly what I'm doing.
The chat man.
I'm the chat man.
Hi, Mike McPherson. How are you?
Good, Miss Sarah. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Shell. Look at all these people 3 minutes early. I love it. Before we get started, has anyone tried to send emails out to their database yet? Hopefully you'll like it. It's kind of fun.
Got to update it first.
Carrie, what was the issue, if you don't mind sharing?
I'm just trying to figure out the whole system, and sometimes I end up going down rabbit holes and then I forget where I started and then I lose track and I'm not successful. So I'm really hoping to just kind of play along with you today and get it started and finished.
Absolutely. Tech issues are fun. Today, my main computer decided not to function, so I'm balancing my laptop up. Chris has a Post-it note on his forehead.
Someone was supposed to put this on the door, not my face.
Well, it only works on your face if you have a big window.
That's true.
I can't get over how cold it is today. I really want it to be warmer.
I tried biking to the office yesterday, and that was a mistake. Because I was basically just trying for hold on for dear life, basically, all the way there.
That doesn't sound like fun.
No, it usually is fun.
Snowing.
It looked sunny. I didn't know. That's what happens when you don't check the weather before you head out the door.
Well, Carrie says it's snowing in Newmarket. I know it was snowing yesterday in upstate New York. My mother called to tell me that it was snowing.
That's not bueno.
It snowed here too. Oh, my husband said it's snowing right here in Massachusetts.
That's it. Goodbye. Off to Florida.
Yeah. Hi, Kelly O'Connor. All right, well, it's 1 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So today we're talking about sending emails in Command. And I just wanted to know, first of all, what are the biggest questions you guys have, even before we get started? And I'll obviously ask you again at the end so we make sure that we can address all of your questions, if anybody has any.
I'm basically just looking for how to set it up start to finish to be able to send bulk emails to my contacts.
Awesome. Anybody else? Home anniversary emails.
I was just kind of hoping to find out if there was any more information on like figuring out how to see who has unsubscribed from emails. Just so that we don't kind of get into issues with compliance on that.
As far as I've heard, that is still coming. It
Okay.
is not out yet.
Because we've been sending them pretty consistently. It's just people are unsubscribing and there's no way to see who has. So it just makes me
Right.
leery to keep sending out emails, just waiting for somebody to kind of slap our hand. So
Okay, anybody else? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and hopefully you guys can all see my command screen if you just want to give me a thumbs up. Awesome. So I wanted to go ahead and I pulled up a few emails that I've put together, and one of them, this was when we first came out with the new magazine, right? And so, you know, it's got a header at the top. It has a picture of the magazine. Take a look at my March real estate magazine, another image, some text, a button, and then the footer. And what I want you to notice is if you look at my cursor, how it's an arrow, when it goes over the button, it turns to a hand. When it goes over the image I put in the middle, it turns into the hand, and the same with this. The reason that is because I made these hyperlinks, and all three of them actually go to the same thing. This happens to go to that agent magazine, right? Another email that I sent out, this was actually a stock email from Keller Williams, right? So we used to think about them, and when we had WolfNet, when we had eEdge, every different thing we've had, if you use Top Producer, you always had a library. And we do have a library now. And this one, the only thing that I did, I put some red text in and made some of the text bold just to make it stick out a little bit. And I added in an image of a market update. Everything else is the standard straight from command. So what I wanted to do is show you both how to create the email from scratch, how to use a an off-the-shelf Keller Williams email and maybe just make some changes to it if you wanted to add something in, and then the process of how you actually send that out. So first thing I'm going to do is go into design. So that's the third from the bottom. It looks like a square or a piece of paper with a paintbrush. And if I click on that white KW in the red box, all of the names come out. I'm going to go into designs. Now for today, we're going to assume that you've already created any images that you want to put into your emails. We're not going to be creating those in here. But just as a reminder, up at the top, we have 4 little tabs: email, social, print, and video. And these are really just organizing things that you've already created in designs. So none of these things are going to create something new. These are all just sorting what you've already done. To create a new, any sort of image or email or anything in designs, we're going to come down to the bottom right where you see the teal circle with the plus sign. So that's always where we go to create. When I click on that, I get 5 options. I can see email, social, print, video, or import. And we're going to just stay right at the top left with email. So I'm going to click on email and I'm going to click on next. Now, when I do that, what opens up here, these are all stock templates from Keller Williams. And if I scroll down, you're going to see that I'm on these are the first 16 of 72. So I can keep clicking and I can go through. There are 72 different templates. You've got luxury, classic, I think it's approachable, modern. And in each one of those, you can see you have newsletters. You have, here's one for tax day. Here's if they're ready to sell. Here's a refinancing, protect your credit. You can see that you can go through and you can pick from whichever series that you would like, whichever email that you would like. So if I came in and I'm just going to pick Happy Spring, well, actually I already showed you Happy Spring. I will pick the classic buyer lead conversion touch. And I just want to make sure here This one up here is number 1. So I'm going to select it and then I click next. And what that does is it opens up for me into the design window. So this is to design a template. And I want you to think of templates as things that you would use more than once. So you create a template and then you could go back 2 months later and use the same template and tweak it to what you want. So it's a little bit different than when we think of creating an email, where every email we create, start to finish, is its own thing. We can create a template, which is kind of nice in a way. Even if you just change your message, the whole look is the same. So what I want you to notice first, up at the top where it says Market Center name, you can see that that looks a little funny, right? It doesn't look like you would expect it to, and that's normal. I want you to see that that's normal because, you know, people might look at that and say, oh, that's broken. That is how it tends to look when we first look at that. If we click on this eyeball here, that's to preview, you're going to see that the logo comes right up just fine. Mine's a little small right now, but it comes up just fine. And then you're going to see here, it says, hi, contact first name, it's agent first name. These here are things called merge fields. Merge fields are great because I could put all of you on this email and it would say, hi, Chris, hi, Kelly, hi, Susan, hi, Shell, hi, Carrie, hi, Kimberly, right? It's going to, each one is going to be individually addressed and it's going to say, it's Sarah. Have you had a chance to check out my KW app? Blah, blah, blah. It's going to go through the whole thing. And then you'll see it says, contact me for all of your real estate needs. And everything that comes in to these areas that look funny comes from your marketing profile. So if you have set up in your back end of Keller Williams, your marketing profile, all of this information, including the link for your app, will pop up right here, as well as the footer. Now, let's just say I wanted to make a change or I wanted to add something. So maybe between this text and before the contact me, I want to add an image. Because a lot of times we might want to do that. So I'm going to click on this button here that says image. We have 9 different widget buttons here. Okay, I'm going to click on image and I'm going to drag it to where I want it. And I can see with that green line where it's going to go. And what it does, once I let go of it, it's going to open up the window to add an image. Now I can come in and look through images that I've already added, or I could go to add a listing image or add an image from my computer. Those are what these 3 buttons are. So if I click on add image, it's going to ask me where on my computer I want it, or I could drag and drop. Listing images, I'm going to have to pick a listing. But if I want to go ahead and just choose an image that I've already uploaded, I can go ahead and do that. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is in my preview pane on the left, I want you to see this is huge. Okay, this is way too big for this email. And I'm okay with that right now because I'm going to either, and this is my joke, I think they think we all have really good vision. If I zoom in, you can see there's a pencil icon that I can click on, or I prefer to just double click. And when I double click, it opens up on the right-hand side for my editing portion. So think of the left side as your preview and the right side as where you're going to make all of your edits. Now I could replace the image here if I decide I don't like it. I can edit the image, and when I click on the edit button, when it's playing nice, it will actually open up the image for me. There we go. And this image is probably not good for this, but if I wanted to crop it in some way, or if I only wanted a certain part of it, I could crop the image down. But for now, I'm actually just going to keep this where it's at. Okay. Now I can type in alternate text. So if someone has their email set up to not automatically download images, I could write something like, in this case, North Andover market report. And that way they would see what that image is about. Nice thing right here, I can add a landing page or a website address that this would link to. So if I had a landing page that I've already created, I could go ahead and add that in. So for right now, I'm just going to pick one that it's going to go to. it won't make sense in this instance, but I'll just go ahead and choose that. Now, most of us do not think in pixels. Chris, you might think in pixels, I don't know, but most of us don't. This is telling me here that the width and height of this image is 750 pixels each. Isn't that lovely? I don't think in pixels, but I know that 550 is less than 750. So I'm going to start with that. And when I hit done at the top, you're going to see it made it smaller. Now I could decide, you know what, maybe it's still too big. I want to make it even smaller. I can go ahead and, you know, choose a different number, or I could say, you know what, that's just fine. I also can come in and choose if I want it to be in the center, left, or right, or if I want to cut the corners off. If I want to make it rounded, I can add a border radius. So now what's going to happen is when someone gets this email, if they click on this image, it will link them to something else. Other things that can be nice that I just want you to look at here, personally, I like the listing block. So if I have a listing that I want to highlight, I can add that block in here. And just like before, I can either click on the pencil icon or I can double click on it. When I double click on it, it opens up the working window on the right-hand side, and I can choose select listing if it is something that is listed in MLS. And I can go ahead, when I select this listing, I can go through all of the pictures from the MLS and I can choose the one that I want. And what I want you to notice is it goes ahead and it fills out every other part that's on here automatically. So again, I could type in something for the alternative text if I think someone is not going to automatically see that. And I can automatically link it to a landing page or to you know, a website page. And one thing I just want to mention to you is on your Keller Williams website, even if you have not, you know, spent a lot of time setting it up, if you come in, so if I type in, and I don't know actually that this one will come up because it is under agreement. So I'm just going to check here. Yeah, it's not going to show it because it's already under agreement. Let me just go straight to Boxford here. What I want you to see is that every listing, I pick the town that has nothing for sale. Okay, so every listing, if I just choose this one here, every listing that you choose, you get a unique URL at the top. It doesn't matter who the listing agent is, if it's yours or someone else's. Up at the top of the screen, above, you know, your search bar, you have a unique URL. So if I want to bring someone to this listing, right, and this would be on, no matter who's the listing agent, this is on my website. So I want you to see, if I click the button here, ask my agent, it's going to come to Sarah Herta. Why? Because it's my website that I'm showing this on. You get the whole MLS, but on your Keller Williams website. So what I can do there is, instead of landing page, I would choose web address, and I'm going to paste that unique URL. And then when I click done, you'll see that this little listing box automatically updates with all that information. So if I go ahead and I hit save, and then I'm going to hit preview again, I just want you to see what this email will look like to the person, right? It says, so it could say, hi, Kelly, it's Sarah. Have you had a chance to check out my app? They've got a couple things they can click on. Now I want you to notice that while I'm in this preview window, the links don't work. So I want you to expect that. Here, it's going to have that listing that I put in there. It's going to say, contact me for all your needs. It's going to give all of your information. And then you could click, not in this window, but download my app. And then it gives you all of the rest of the information there. Now, even if you're not ready to send this yet, I would go ahead and I would change the name. So for right now, I'm just going to put Sarah in front of it. And I'm going to click save and exit. was getting worried, Chris. It wasn't exiting. And it took me all the way back to the beginning. All right, so
course.
I'm going to go back into designs. And I can see right here in my email, you know, it's got the little envelope with the @ sign. I can see right here is that template. I just called it Sarah at the beginning, right? And I can look right at that. Now, before I go on to the next step, I want to show you if you thought you wanted to create something on your own. First of all, I really hope that you look through all of, maybe not all 72, but a lot of the pre-done templates for you. There are a lot, and a lot of them are very, very good. So I highly recommend that you look at these.
I love starting there, Sarah, and then just
know.
editing it. It saves a lot of time other than starting
Yeah.
from scratch.
Well, you know, Chris, I've really found out that people tend to fall into two categories. Either they look at a blank page and they kind of freak out a little bit and they just like, I don't even know what to do. And other people look at a template and they kind of freak out a little bit because they're going, oh my gosh, I have to put something into each box. So I like to show both only because some of you might be this way and some of you might want that way. Really quickly, I do want to show you the newsletters. And this is the modern style, which may or may not be what you like, but there's all different styles. And I just want you to kind of get an idea. This one is very basic. Okay, so you could put something in here like the spring market is crazy, right? And it just is giving you, in this case, you know, your kind of fake Latin text here in the middle, because you're going to put your own information in here, but it's giving you just a format, right? If you like this look, that's it. It's just giving you some ideas. All right.
And to your point, you don't have to use every element in there, right? It gives you a place
No.
to start, and then you could just delete a couple of the things and use what you need.
Absolutely. But I want to show you, if you did want to create your own, there's this button right here up at the top, create new template. And when I click on that, you're going to say, wow, it looks exactly the same as what was there before, except for my preview pane on the left is empty. So I just want to show you really what all 9 of these do. I like to start with the legal header. I just think it kind of starts the email off nicely. And again, if I preview it, it's just putting the logo, my information, and my headshot, whatever's in the marketing profile. So all I did is I clicked on legal header. You can see I could put it multiple times, maybe. I guess they changed it. Now it will only let you do it once. But that's all I did is click and drag. And then when I think about what is the first thing that I like to add to an email, I like to say the person's name. I want to personalize it. So I'm going to add text. So just like before, I'm going to click on the T for text and I'm going to drag it underneath. And I'm going to double click on the text. Now, if you like to change the font, right, you've got a few options, not a whole lot, but let's just say, which one?
It's a Roboto. I love Roboto.
And maybe you want to make it a little bit bigger, and you could be crazy and you could, let me just reselect it. You could make it a color, you know, you choose what you want. But I'm actually going to delete it because I don't want it to say, insert your text here. And I'm going to click on those merge fields that we were talking about. Now they've alphabetized them here. So if you've used merge fields in your smart plans, they're in a different order, not to frustrate you or anything. So we want to find contact first name. And I like to point this out because the default or the first option is agent first name. And it would look really weird if I sent this to Kimberly and it said Sarah at the top, right? So I want to choose contact first name. And I just want to make sure that it is, there you go, the size that I want it to be. There we go. When I've got this the way I want it, I'm going to hit done. Now, personally, I don't put a comma after it because if I have someone in my database that I don't have their first name, I don't want it to be a blank space with a comma because that would look kind of odd. So I'm going to just leave it with their first name and I'll hit done. So now you see it says contact first name. And then I could go ahead and I could choose, well, what do I want first? And maybe I'm going to add more text. And the reason I do it separately is that way, if I want to go in and make a change later, it's just easier to change the part that I want. So have you seen what is happening in North Andover? Right, whatever it is that I want to say. And then I'm going to hit done. Then I can, of course, drag out an image. So I want you to watch how the image works because it's not hard, but it's weird. So I just want to show you what this does. I'm going to drag out image. It's going to open up this window. So just like before, I can go straight to a listing. I can add an image from my computer, or if I, in this case, I already have an image I'm going to use that same thing as before, or I could use that market trend report if you were doing the Monday, or it's back up again, right, Chris? The listing initiative, I think they're calling it the growth initiative now.
Yes.
So maybe I'll add this one in, or whichever one I choose. Again, it's big, so I'm going to go in and make it smaller. This time I'll make it 450. And again, I could hyperlink it if I want to, or I could change anything about it. But for right now, I can do that. If I've decided I want to add to this, here is a monthly snapshot of March 2021. Right, so I can keep making changes as I go, and it's not difficult. So now I have, again, my header, their first name. Have you seen what's happening in North Andover? Here's that snapshot. Now, the next thing I want you to see is the button, right? If I'm just going across the top, let's say I want to add in a button. So again, I'm going to drag that where I want it. I want it to go underneath. Now I've noticed that the button is the one thing on here that I can't double click to open. I have to use that minuscule pencil. When I click on that pencil, you can see on the right, I get a whole bunch of different options. So the first thing that I want to do is type what I want the button to say. So I'm going to say, click for Market Snapshot. Now, obviously, I need to link this to something. So I would want to already have something created that I was going to use. So for right now, I'm just going to put it to a landing page. I can change the width and the height of the button, but I want to see how it looks first. I can change the font. Now I said Roboto or Roboto before, so I'm going to stick with that. I want it to be in the center, but maybe I want to change the color. Now, if you have a logo or specific colors for your business, I want you to notice, see if it'll let me zoom in here. Sometimes it doesn't. I zoom in this way, maybe. Nope, it still doesn't want to. At the bottom here, you can see there's RGB and you can type in the codes. You can also switch to hue, saturation, and light, or if you have a hex code. I just like to show that to people because sometimes they have very specific colors that they use for all of their marketing. The other thing that we have here is a magnifying glass. So while I can sit here and try to make a specific color and I can choose, really anything that I want, if I wanted to coordinate with my photograph here, I can click on the magnifying glass and I could say, well, do I want it to be, something from the sky? Do I want it to be something, the red? So I could choose exactly the color that I want with the magnifying glass, which to me is huge because I don't know, sometimes do you really want to sit and try to figure out the color? When I have it the way I think I want it, and I think I'm going to want to change the size of it, but I'm going to click done. So you can see here how the font is off. I kind of expected that because I made it intentionally a really long title. So again, I don't think in pixels. I really don't. So I've got to just make something up. So let's see what 180 looks like. Well, it's getting better. Right, so there you go. Now that looks pretty good. All I did is say, okay, I know I'm going to have to change the width of it. I don't really know how wide it's going to be, so let's just look. So now I know that when someone clicks on this, they're going to go to that landing page. Okay, so that's in there. That's all you have to do for a button. Now we already put the header at the top. We're going to put the footer at the bottom. I did show you the listing block, but I'm going to show it to you again. So if I come down, and let's say that you have a listing that is not on the market yet, right? So you're not going to choose select listing. Maybe you're going to put text in that says coming soon. You can hit replace, and you're going to have to go to your computer. Look at that. It's no longer allowing me to go to my computer. Evil people. That worked last week. Okay, so for this instance, you're just going to pick for one that's active. So all I do is pick a photo. It's going to choose everything else, and I can hyperlink it if I want. Again, just like everything else, you get really used to clicking done. And I say you're going to get used to it because if you're like me, you're going to click everything other than done until you realize, oh my gosh, I really do need to click done. It can be very frustrating. Okay.
Sarah,
So now I've got.
Lisa had a quick question, just a clarification. The click button goes to where?
So it's whatever you choose it to be. So right here, you could have it go to a landing page or to a website URL, whatever. You could even have a Google form if you've created one, anything that you want to, anything that you want it to link it to.
Perfect.
So that link to is, I guess, what I needed. Thanks.
Yep. So you would just, if you don't have a landing page, then just go right to a web address.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing is an event block. So let's say you're doing a first-time homebuyer seminar, or you've got something, whatever it is that you have going on. Maybe you're giving out something for Pi Day, whatever it is. Again, you are going to click in. I want you to notice that because it doesn't allow me to scroll up any more than where I'm at. Work. Say that because I can see if it's above the listing, but if I want it below, I just kind of drop it, and luckily it pretty well drops it right under. Just like everything else, the only thing I want you to notice on the left is that each one of these is separate. So again, if I double click on the picture, I can replace the picture. So for right now, I am just going to choose one that I already have in here. And I can link it to something. In this case, I'd probably link it to an Eventbrite or however, whatever I'm using for people to register. And again, I can change the height and the width. I can change the border radius. I can change everything that I want, but in this case, I'm just going to leave it right where it is. I then have to double click on the text, and I could say that this is going to be May 15th, 2021 at 5 o'clock. Maybe I want it a little bit bigger. Or maybe I want it to be a different font. See, I almost hit save and exit. You saw that, right? I'm going to click done. Okay, then I'm going to go in. I can change the event title. I mean, this is all pretty simple here. So if I'm going to say, maybe it's a career night. I'm just trying to think, by agents, for agents, what would it be, right? And again, I can change the font. But in this case, maybe I want to make it bold. And I'll make it red. There we go, and make it bigger, right? So you could play with it. You could say, you know what, that doesn't look really bold enough. And it doesn't look big enough. We're gonna make it huge. There you go. And then you could put in your description, the same thing. I'm just double clicking on it. I could make whatever changes. And the same thing as before, when I click on the button, I have to choose the pencil icon. And then you're going to change every single thing here. So you could say register and so on and so on. You're going to go through and change every single part of that. So these 5 little items become your event block. If you want to add a video, when you drag out the video, so again, I want to put it below everything else. There's 2 things that I want you to notice. If I double click on that gray, I have to change the thumbnail. It can't just be, how do I say this? It's not going to automatically come in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log into my YouTube. And oh my, if I come up to my channel, right, what my videos are, on this one, I just have a few, but I'm going to grab one of these videos. So I'll take 50 Woodcrest here. I'm going to click on it so that it starts playing. And what I need to do is decide, where do I want that snapshot or that screen capture to be? Well, there's the front of the house. That looks pretty good. And I know that I need to make a screenshot of that. So if you are on a Mac, you can use Command Shift and the number 4. If you're on a PC, you're probably going to use, let's see, Snippet, Snagit. Chris, what are some other ones?
If you don't have software, everything comes all the Windows machines come preloaded with Paint. So you could do Control Alt Print Screen and then paste it into Paint and then crop it in there as well.
So what I like to do is, when I select my area, I want to make sure that I get all of those little icons at the bottom that YouTube puts in there, right? The play, the fast forward, and so on, because I want people to know that it's a video. So that I've saved. And the next thing I want to do is hit the share button. And when I click on the share button, all I want is this URL that automatically comes up. So I'm going to hit the word copy. Excuse me. Okay. So I'm going to come back to my command tab, and I can come right here where it says video URL and I can paste it. But I still have to change the thumbnail. So when I hit replace, I'm going to click add images, and I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to grab that screenshot. Chris, on the PC, whichever option you use, where does it automatically save it? Does it go to downloads or your desktop or to a picture folder?
When you do the copy paste,
Mm-hmm.
well, when you hit save, it actually, it just it's waiting for whatever the last place is that you saved something. So it's usually desktop or downloads.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, once I've done that, I just want you to see, I can't hit replace. See how it's kind of grayed out? I need to actually click on the image, and then I can hit replace. And it will plop that image right in there. So now you can see I have the YouTube link and that image. And when I hit done, it's also putting, I'll just zoom in a little bit, a little white play symbol in the middle. But again, I like people to see the links from YouTube, because then it just gives them another thing to see that it's a video. And the last option we have that I haven't shown you yet is MarketSnap. And here, when I click on this, I have to give it a zip code.
Cheryl Lerner, would you mind muting yourself, please?
And I have to pick a neighborhood. It's interesting to me because Middleton is a town, not part of this. I'm going to pick a different zip code. I was going to say, in my town, there's literally one house on the market right now, so it's a little bit not the best option to choose.
Market.
Okay, so in here again, this is not giving me any great stats. I have found personally that the neighborhood snapshots, it's exactly the same as the smart plans. If you are living in a very urban area, it tends to work a lot better. Where I am, my area is not necessarily that urban. Chris, does it work better in your area?
Yeah, if you want to try like 02116, that might give us a little bit more to work with.
And which neighborhood?
Ellis.
Look at that. It actually populates.
Hey, woo! And just a reminder that these neighborhood boundaries, we didn't come up with them. Nextdoor did. And Nextdoor came up with them because the people who live there chose those boundaries when they set it up.
Yeah. Okay. Really quickly, I'm going to go through YouTube again. Jennifer Kim is just asking. And Margaret, yes, you can upload a video that you've saved to your laptop. When you are in YouTube, and by the way, every single person on this call has a YouTube channel because you have a Keller Williams email. So when you are on your YouTube, and by the way, if you log into your Keller Williams email and you click on these 9 dots up at the top, you can go right to your YouTube channel from there. And once you're in here, there's a button, there you go, up here at the top that looks like a little movie camera. And so let's say whether your photographer sent you a video or if you took one with your phone, all you do is click on that button and say upload a video. And it's going to ask me to upload a video. I don't really have one to upload right now, but I could drag and drop, or I could hit select files and go to my computer and find one. Okay. And that is how you would get it. And then once you have the video that you want, you can click on it and say get a shareable link. And it's already copied that to the clipboard. So if I came back in here and I went, this would change it to a totally different link. Right, so now that's going to a different video, which is fine. So that is, except for our legal footer, and I apologize that someone let my dogs outside. If you hear them barking and howling in the background, it's kind of embarrassing. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing as before. I'm gonna click and drag for the legal footer. We can't change any of the information that's on the legal footer. It is, all coming in from your marketing profile. Okay. So if I come in and I say, all right, I'm going to save it, but I really want to look at what this looks like. I'm going to click either on the eyeball that's right up at the top, or under options, I can click preview. They both do the same thing. So I can see here, it's got the logo, it's got my name and my picture, it says contact first name, it's got everything that I typed in. I've got here the market update with a button. None of my hyperlinks are working right now, and I just want you to know that. I've got my event here. Hold on just one second. Is on the dogs, I apologize. I've got the video link. I have got the neighborhood snapshot, and then again, my footer. Okay, so I've got everything ready to go in here. And if I want to look at the difference, the default up here is for if somebody's on their computer. But I can click in the middle. This is what it will look like on a tablet. It doesn't really look any different, except for it has less white space. When I switch to a phone, you're going to see that things kind of compress a little bit more because our phones are pretty skinny. But again, it doesn't look bad. It's just a long message, okay? To get out of the preview, I click the X at the top right. And then I would want to name it. So I'm just going to call this Tech Class 421, 22. And I'm going to hit save and exit. And for some reason today, save and exit doesn't exit. There you go. Now it's exiting. So now if I come in, I can see I've got my tech class one. I've got that one I just created with you a minute ago, the classic lead conversion one. And I've got a whole bunch of other ones that I've created. But now I need to do the second and third step. So with sending an email, well, let me put it this way. It's a 2 to 3 step process. We've created a template. I can use that template now in a smart plan, or I'm going to send it out like a blast email. So if I'm going to do it like a blast email, what I'm going to do next is I've got to go to campaigns. In campaigns, it looks like a megaphone. So it's right here, kind of almost a little lower than middle. Once I go to campaigns, I'm going to click at the top right in the middle where it says emails. And what I want to do first is make a list. So they've put this a little, I don't know, I wish it was a little more visible, but it's down here on the right. It says configure lists. And what I'm going to do is create the list of people that this email is going to go to. Right? So you might have already done it, maybe not, but we need to think about who is going to get the email. So once I hit create list, I have to hit create list again. And I want it to show you a few things. So first of all, I can name the list. So I'm going to call this, I'm very creative, Tech Class 422. And I want to show you something that does not work. Right? Because I want to keep the frustration low. So I'm going to type in a last name. And I want to show you it's going to say contacts not available. It's something that they're working on, but I want to point that out that if you try to go in and type in a last name to find someone, it does not work. If I go in by first name, you're going to see there's a whole lot of Sarahs. I can click on myself right here, right? There's a whole bunch of people. The next thing I want to show you is tags. So I'm going to get rid of Sarah. It's going to keep that one selected. And I'm going to click on tags. When I choose tags, I have to use my, I'm using my keypad scrolling. You could use your mouse. And I know the one I want is at the bottom. I have a lot of tags, by the way. All right, I want the one I called temp. And once I have chosen however many tags that I want this to go to, there's no like confirm. I just want to click somewhere in the white space. So just to show that again, when I click on tags, I'm going to choose the tag that I want. And then I'm just going to click on the white space somewhere else. Now, to go in, I can either individually say, look, I want Joe Schmo, Tony Stark, Winnie the Pooh, Fred Flintstone, right? I can go in and I can choose people that way, or I can choose select all. But I want you to see that besides the one person I already selected, it's only doing 100 people at a time. Now, we don't create lists that often. So what I want you to see is if I scroll all the way to the bottom, I can hit load more. And I intentionally chose a tag that I know has a ridiculous amount of people on it because I want to show you that I'm going to go in, and I'm not going to do all of them for right now, but I can go in and choose, select more, load more. And then when I come up to the top and hit select all, you'll see now I have 301 people on that list. Now, again, if we created lists every single day, that might be a real pain, but we really don't. So it's not that bad. I'm going to hit the word confirm. And you're going to see right here, Tech Class 422, I have 301 people on it. Again, I can click on the pencil to edit, but now I have my list. So when I think about it, I've got my template of what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to click, and I've created the list of who this is going to, right? So now I've got step 3. I'm going to merge them together, right? So I'm going to come back up and I can click on emails if I want, or I can come right up to the top where it says create a new campaign. I'm still in campaigns. When I choose create a new campaign, we've been talking so much about social posts and social ads, but this time we're going to choose the email one. This looks very similar, right? This looks like when we do a Facebook ad. I need to name it. And then I need to choose what the purpose is of this. So I'm going to go ahead and say other. Yeah, just to kind of chime in on the chat here, you get 5,000 emails a month that are free. So it's 5,000 emails a month. And then if you need more than that, then you can pay. I think to go up to 10,000, it's $9.99 a month. I wanted to stick with my command mail, and I'm going to hit set up campaign. Now, if you're doing this like we are, where we created the template and it showed us the preview, and now we're coming in here, it's going to show us the preview again. It seems a little bit weird. But when we created the template 2 or 3 months ago, and now we want to go in and make changes to it, it's actually kind of nice. So the first thing I'm going to do when I look here now, and on this template, our work areas on the left and our previews on the right. So it's backwards from before. First thing I need to do is choose my recipients list. Here's all of that list that I had before. So I'm going to choose my tech class. Now let's say I forgot that I wanted to add someone. I can still come into edit. And let's say I want to add in Kelly. Because remember, if I put in O'Connor, it would say that she doesn't exist in there. So I'm going to choose her this way. And now it added her in. It had to think about it. Okay, it's going to come from whatever I set up my command email to be, unless I wanted to go ahead and change that. And then I need to write a subject, right? Because this is an email. So I might say April newsletter, whatever I'm going to call my email. And now I need to select here, I need to select that template. So I'll choose Tech Class 422. It pulls up the window that we just looked at. So I could make whatever changes I want, or I could just say save and exit when I like it. And now it's going to put the preview on the right. So again, it seems a little bit repetitive, but when you think about the fact that we might be using the same template month after month, right? And we might want to make changes, it makes sense. But once we've approved it and it pops over here to the right, when I come through here, I can just, yep, that's exactly what I want. I can either hit save as a draft because I'm not yet ready. I can hit schedule and I could say, you know what? I don't want it to go out today at 3:46. I want it to go out Tuesday and I want it to go out at, 2 o'clock p.m. Right? So you could say apply date and time, and then you could hit schedule. Or I want it to go out right this second. I can just hit send. So it sounds like a lot. I know I've been talking at you for 48 minutes, which is unbelievable. But once you've kind of played with this a little bit, and I'm just going to save this as a draft. Otherwise, people will be like, what are you sending me? Once you've done this, like let's say I've already created the template and I just need to make a change. I can say create a new campaign. I could say email. And I can choose what I want that to be. Who do I want it to go to? What do I want to call it? And when I choose this, I'm just going to choose the magazine template, right? It's going to come up and maybe I'm going to come right in here and say, nope, I don't want it to say March. I want it to say April. And done. And maybe I created a different, a different version of the magazine, or I've got some other thing that I want it to pick from. I'm going to change that URL. And maybe I'm going to come in here and change some of the text. But as soon as I do that and I hit save and exit, I'm now ready to go. I can quickly now just hit send. And it now says April instead of March. And I would assume it has a new link. So the first time you do anything, think about the first time that you did a CMA. I don't know about you, but that took me a long time. Just like anything, right? Once we've done that first thing, it can go really, really super fast. The one last thing that I want to show you guys is I'm going to go into smart plans because What I want to show you in here is if you don't think you want to do a blast, you just want to send an email. I want to show you if you click on designs and you hit select design, you have the same two options as before, the templates from Keller Williams, or you have my design templates. So if I came in here and I said, you know what, I want to have that magazine template, it's going to give me that preview and I would hit save. And now that's part of my smart plan. Now, in this case, that might not be good because I'm changing it every month, but I just want to show you that you can use these templates easily in a smart plan as well as in a blast email. So, what questions have you got? Or are you thinking, oh my gosh, that's overwhelming?
Sarah, are we able to find out whose email address has bounced and for what reason?
No, unfortunately, we still can't do that yet. If I come into campaigns, it is on the radar. It is something that they're extremely well aware of.
Justin asks, can an image be turned into a click button? Essentially, yeah, right? I mean, you can link that as an element. So if you have a picture of a home, like Sarah had mentioned, and you want it to link to your listing or YouTube video or anything, you can send it anywhere, yeah.
So right now, I'll show you one because I teach a lot of classes, so I don't end up always sending the emails. But what I want you to see is here, with some of these, if I come in and say preview, it tells me here that there were 207 emails that were sent. When I look at that, there were 107 unique opens. But the email was opened a total of 142 times. Now on this one, I can see there were 2 soft bounces. I can't see who, right? So that's all coming. It's just not available yet, unfortunately. It would be really nice though.
Yeah. Hillary is asking, is there a list of the merge fields we can use in the email? I think the only reference I'm aware of, Sarah, is just going into that process, pulling that drop down and just having them all there.
Yeah. So if I just quickly come in, and I'm just going to click here where it says contact first name. You've got first name. So this is all agent, first name, last name, license number, team name, designations, bio. I mean, there's a lot of agent things you could put in for a signature. You know, a lot of people have said, how can I do an email signature? Well, you would just grab all of those. You've got all your market center information. And we keep coming down. You have contact first name, last name, email, phone number, birthday, home anniversary, and your brokerage market center phone. I will tell you that if you put their birthday in there and it's not a happy birthday message, it might look really weird to them.
Yeah.
It would be like Sarah's a stalker.
Weirdo. Also, I do notice that sometimes in these drop downs, remember that when you first open that drop down, a lot of times that scroll bar doesn't appear and people sometimes assume, oh, it's only those 10 options I see there.
Yeah.
So be sure to use that scroll function on your mouse or your trackpad.
Absolutely. Okay. What else have we got here? You guys are a very quiet group.
They're typing though. Lisa's asking, is there a unique, what is a unique opening versus the other? Soft versus what? Following the tiny cursor when you don't know where it's going is challenging. I'm not sure I quite understand the question.
Okay, so let me come back to, I'll just go into campaigns.
Colleen says she's
All
quiet because she's taking lots of notes.
Oh, well, that's good. Notes are good. Just waiting for it to load here. Okay, so if I come in, even just, oh, that one failed. which is interesting because it still gives some details. Now, it didn't tell me why that email failed, by the way. It just says failed, doesn't tell me why. But if I come into this one and I click on the right-hand side, it says preview, right? So any of these here, once they've sent, it'll say preview. So if I go ahead on this one and click preview, you can see this one I only sent to 4 people. Okay, so this one, it was called testing. I sent the email to 4 people. That's the number down at the bottom. And then up here, I can see that it was opened by 4 individual people. But it was opened a total of 12 times. So I want you to know what that means is that those 4 people, at least one of them, if not all of them, opened it up multiple times. So unique opens is exactly that. How many times was it opened by the first time by that person? And then total opens gives you an idea that people are opening it up more than once. So this one here, now I will, just to make you laugh, these were emails to my office. So you can see that out of 207 emails, only 138 people opened them.
Wait a minute, Sarah, are you telling me that agents aren't checking our emails each and every day?
Every second, could you imagine?
Say it ain't so.
Seriously. And if I look at this one, 207, 107 opens, 142 total opens. And this one is, all right, so Chris, help me out on this one. Hard and soft bounces. Hard bounce means the email doesn't exist anymore at all. Soft bounce.
My understanding is a soft bounce is that there is some sort of like domain name server issue where it's not, it doesn't recognize that it's not a real address, but it can't find its way home. And so it's unsure, yeah.
Somewhere I have a whole list of definitions of all of this.
I used to work with an email marketing company, and a soft bounce could also be somebody has an away message on their email. So it looks like it bounced, but it didn't necessarily, they'll get it whenever they are home again.
Oh.
That's good to know. Thank you.
This is great. I used to work for an email marketing company, and I'm just going to say Command is really, I'm glad I took this class. I didn't realize all the things Command could do.
Right, because I think we could all agree that if you just popped in here and said, I'm just going to figure this out on the fly because I really want to send a campaign today, it really does. Please, like tell your fellow agents, take the class first, watch the class recording first. Don't try and figure it out on the fly because it's quite frankly not the most intuitive thing ever.
Yeah.
But it's very
and
powerful.
whether you send one of the templated emails or you are creating your own, or maybe you're sending a templated one, but just making some changes or maybe you have this great thing you've created that you want to add into it. It's all very doable. Just practice it first. Have a few people. You could send stuff to me. I don't mind. I'll be like, I don't know why Chris is sending me this, but it'll start a conversation. And it would be kind of fun. And that way it could be like, hey, did you get it? What did you think? And did the hyperlinks work? Send it to your friend or your spouse or yourself and just look at it and see how it goes. Once you've done it once or twice, it's much easier. So.
I have a question. When will the recording be sent out?
So sorry, Harris. It's actually not going to be sent out. It will be posted to the YouTube channel. And I put that link in the chat. So it's just a couple of comments up in the chat.
Yeah.
I think it's usually like a day or two.
Yeah. It's usually not that, it doesn't usually take too long. And I just want to go in and check. Antonietta asked a quick question. And I just haven't checked, to be honest. When you're coming in and doing the list, it doesn't necessarily give you the option between team leads or team contacts and personal contacts. So I would honestly have to experiment with that. I don't know that off the top of my head. I know there's still a few things that the team, the issue between team contacts and personal account contacts isn't functioning a whole lot. So I would, it's coming, don't get me wrong. But I would just double check on that one. Chris, do you know for sure?
About sending email campaigns from a team?
Well, just to get the team leads when you're creating the list. I'm just not sure.
To do that, I think teams are generally using the smart plan option
That's
that
what
you
I
had
would, yeah.
shown them. Yeah, because you can select within the smart plan, that is teamified. So you could, at the start of that, say, is this a team smart plan or a personal smart plan? And then that'll allow that access to those contacts in that account.
Yeah, it's coming. We just they don't give us dates. They don't want to be wrong.
Cool.
Well, guys, it's been so much fun. I know that we're 2 minutes over. I don't want to take up all of your day. I just was very excited to be able to show you this today and give you some tips and tricks on sending emails, whether it's through a smart plan or as a blast. I think that the greatest thing is to know that there are steps to it. It's not hard, but just like when you first did a CMA, just do a practice one, make sure that you like the way that it looks. And I think that you'll be really happy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah.